Bye.
Hey, it's Colleen, and today I'm here with Darren. Darren, what do you do for True Media?
Everything that can.
Pretty much.
I am now an account manager.
Correct.
I keep ready to say account executive, but then
You got promoted. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're kind of the same as everyone here, kind of hands on in every aspect we do as a business.
Literally. Darren is, SEO, PPC, social, websites. So you literally do everything.
We all do everything.
It's true. But today's topic is going to be about the fact that Darren came to us as a part of an apprenticeship, and you did a career change and you've had to juggle a full-time job with an apprenticeship. So it's kind of explaining how that process was from start to finish and encouraging maybe people that are thinking about doing that, any age, any career time. Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, you can just come out of sixth form and do an apprenticeship, but it could be at any part of your life, and it could be after like doing quite a few years of work and being like, I want to do something else. So yeah, it's kind of encouraging. And then also just if someone is already in that, being like, you know, how is it doing a full-time job and doing that? So let's start at the beginning. What made you change your career? What were you doing before? What got you here?
I'll probably just start from like, to make it easier, just be like the journey for apprenticeship the last couple of years, because I was in Glasgow and I moved to Leeds just at the start of pandemic time. I'm not allowed to mention that anymore. Which is not a good time to make a career switch, basically. No. It's kind of bored and stuff I was doing, and the older I was getting, as you get as like, you get a mortgage and you kind of get stuck in like a career. Even if it's not the path you want to be in. And I think at the time I was like, well, my partner was like moving here because she got a new job, and I was like, this is a perfect time to switch careers and find something that I like and do. So I was like, I quit my job and I was just working like doing loads of stuff for different companies and stuff, so it was like always here and there. There was bits of marketing involved in it, but not directly.
Yeah, but did that give you the taste? Is that what kind of
No, I don't think so.
got your interest?
I think when I come down I was like, I'm going to give myself time to figure out what I want to do now.
Okay.
Because I'm like at an age when I'm bored and I feel like I can't continue down this path.
Yeah.
And then pandemic happened and it gave me lots of time to like think, and then I got bored and then I was like, I'm going to do something, and then unbeknown to that, like I started my Instagram page.
Yeah.
So like,
do you want to just drop a little ad there? Drop a little
there.
Yeah. Jess, if you could put that in there in the description on YouTube for the podcast.
I think I started doing marketing, especially digital marketing and Instagram, without realising it.
Yeah.
So it took off pretty quickly. Didn't know what I was doing. And then more I've done with that, even working with like some of the street artists and the other guys in the beer thing was coming through. I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just posting stuff and then try to figure it out. And then more I was like, I'm actually interested in this.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm going to go read on the internet. Basically.
How to be an influencer. I mean, saying that out loud must give you the absolute cringe, but
it was more about like understanding the algorithm like of the platform.
Yeah.
And then be like, how do I take advantage of this? How does this work?
The techie side of Instagram.
Yeah, pretty much, and be like, how do I get maximise reach? Where does it go? What needs to work? What needs done there? Even if it's just basic like hashtag research strategies based around that.
You were doing hashtags in comments. That was a big trend at that time, like commenting on your own content.
Because I watched a lot of people, especially on YouTube, and be like, this is how you do this. And I was like, this is not right. I was like, I could probably do this better for me.
Yeah.
Because there's loads of YouTube videos where people are like, how to get to 10,000 followers quickly.
Yeah.
But then you go on that person's page and don't even have 10,000 followers. So it's like, there's people telling me lies. So it's like, some of the element came in very quickly. So you're like, this works, this doesn't.
Yeah.
Just, but I had more time in my hands to do it and realise success in that is basically engagement. You need to be on it all the time. It's like a full-time job. So that kind of took me to that, but it led me down like little paths to be like, what other aspects of marketing do I like? Mm-hmm. I'm like, how's this go? And I wouldn't say I like influencer marketing because it's just not for me. There's like it benefits because on mine I get to like get beer and stuff, but I wouldn't ever say like I go out my way to be that. The part of it was just to be like this. I enjoy this.
You literally did it for such a like authentic reason of trying to do discovery rather than like chasing the fame or free beer. You just were trying to figure things out.
Pretty much, it was just like, and then if free beer came from it, it would be a benefit. Yeah, it was just like it combined stuff that others are doing and I liked. And I was like, if it's not a hobby, basically especially if you're doing a niche, you're like, oh, it's just an acceptable way to be an alcoholic.
Just take pictures
No
of
one
it,
will
yeah.
know because I'm getting it for free.
It's not as bad if you take pictures of it.
Exactly, and you're
it's fun.
tasting it.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes
Jess, I'm not sure if you can put that in the podcast.
there's been a couple of ones where I'm like, I've not been bothered.
Yeah.
Like non-alcoholic ones, I've kind of tried to be like,
You bring
really
those to the office because you can't be bothered with those ones.
So I'll get other people to review them and I'll just put their notes up. So that's different. So that kind of led me doing other elements, and then I was like, oh, what else? If I enjoy this, how can I make a job of it?
Yeah.
I don't think influencer is a full-time job for like someone just wanting to drink beer, and like it is a full-time job. I'm not going to discredit anyone that does it, but it's a shift.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone can step out of nowhere and be like, this is my career now.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
It's a lot of hard
how do I take this knowledge that I've learned and then make it a job?
Yeah.
And then I found out that like from that there's research, and I was like, oh, there's like Google Analytics, like web design I've written. I was like, it's a big industry just to be like, oh, I work in marketing.
Especially in Leeds. You've moved to Leeds, which is like digital marketing and marketing hub.
I also don't have any background in it, so I was like, I like this, I'm going to follow down a path.
I'm going to get a job.
Yeah. But the path went kind of weird because you're like, everything that's involved in marketing, I kind of taught myself on a quick basis because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But when you start chasing jobs after that, everywhere you go, if you put stuff in your CV, you're like, I've done a certificate this, I've done this, done all my training courses, but I have no practical knowledge.
Yeah.
So everywhere you go, people are like, why do you want this job? Because you already have these skills. You're overqualified or you're underqualified.
Yeah.
And I think everyone gets it in any career where you're like, people are like, you're too qualified for this job. I was like, but I want the job. Like, I'm not qualified in it.
So just let me have the job.
So I think that came to like looking for places, and I started a few places and it was dead just me. They're like people that don't, there's loads of companies you've probably came across, lots of them, who know that they need marketing and then don't value it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I need to be on Instagram, but there's no.
You just go play on Facebook and like Canva.
The sales teams within that department, they hire one person as your marketing team, and the sales are like, why are you not generating leads after a week? And you're like, well,
brand awareness.
it needs. I'm just there, but you also need to help me.
Correct.
Like you are, and then if they look at, especially if you have a history of like growing social accounts, they're like, "Can you do that for us?" I was like, "Well, it's not that easy for it."
Yeah, you have to have content and patience, and so it is.
I started places there and then never really learned. Everything was self-taught, so there's no industry experience. So everything I was doing might have been right, might have been wrong, but it was me developing bad habits or going down a path with no validation of people being like, this is what you're doing.
No opportunity for growth. Like you didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, and I've always been, I think until recently, convinced to myself that I was like, I'd want to work alone, and I'm like self-sufficient.
You love all of us.
No, I know, but that's because I was just comfortable in jobs. I was like, I could do this. As soon as you switch industry without, and lots of people getting to that point where they'll be like, I need, I'm not a mentor, but people around, of peers, to bounce ideas off, to be like, this is right, this is wrong, or even just validate what you think you've learned. Because I think for anyone who's ever going to do it, like basic stuff like the Google Analytics course isn't hands-on.
No, it's like, just literally, it's like being at school. It's like reading a textbook and thinking you know it.
And some people can learn that way. I don't. I think I need to learn practically.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the apprentice thing came in. I applied for something I didn't really think it was in it. And then I spoke to someone and then I was like, this sounds interesting. As long as I was ready to take entry-level jobs anyway because I wanted to learn industry.
Exactly.
But I couldn't get them because people were like, oh, you're either too old, you've got like experience, you've got other things that...
Yeah, that were kind of weighing you down in a sense.
I think people were generally worried that someone even my age or like, I learn quickly and I pick up things quickly, they'll be like, you'll only be here for a year and move somewhere else. It's a stepping stone. I didn't want to be there, but any place I went to, I didn't want to stay long because it was just me. Yeah. And they didn't have anything to offer me. And then the apprentice people were like, we've got this company in Leeds, like marketing, and I looked them up and I was like, it's quite interesting. And then I knew what I wanted from it. But they offered me some other things and I was like, that's not for me. I looked at people and then I met Claire, who obviously runs Trio, and we had a conversation. And I think from her knowledge and basically saying, if you come here, I have loads of experience and there's people here who are skilled and experienced and things. And also we can teach you quickly. Not teach you quickly, but you'll basically throw in at the deep end.
You'll be in an environment where you're just constantly learning, which is exactly what our company is.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of hard work very quickly, a lot
Yeah.
along the same things, but that's what I needed.
Yeah.
But as soon as I met Claire and I was like, oh, that is the mentor I needed to kind of guide me down the path. I don't know what I want to do. There's loads of places to be like, you can go to a company and do Instagram, do whatever.
Yeah.
I think the appeal of an agency was like, to me especially, was all of the subjects.
Yeah. You could dip your toe into every single
Yeah.
field and find out.
And eventually I'll figure out what I want to do. So it's a quick way without going. I think even if I went to university, I would never have figured that out until later in the career.
Because you figure it out when you do it, and that's the practical part that you were saying now. Like, you can learn about something and be like, that sounds so exciting, then you can do it and be like, oh my gosh, this is definitely not what I want to do. So like that practical element.
There's even parts of it where I wouldn't even be doing things. I'd see someone else doing, and I was like, I want to know what that is, and then
Yeah, you are like eager for knowledge and information.
But from that, it becomes watching. It's different from being like, I want to go learn that, but then watching someone who knows what they're doing quickly, and then I can tap it quickly here, which is massive.
And you've overtaken that as well, like the concept. Can I disclose your age group?
Absolutely.
Like mid late 30s, like your apprenticeship company's Baltic. So yeah, so just so that there's context to kind of where you are, both in age but then in career. So older than most people coming in, 20 years old, coming into doing that. And obviously that is like people being like, oh, but you don't have experience. So for anyone that's maybe in that situation as far as a new career and age, and obviously the company Baltic's being good.
I think it's the only takeaway from that is I kind of wish I'd found it earlier. A lot of people take the path of being like going to uni to learn something.
Yeah.
Which is great at the same time, but for certain people that's not affordable or a way in, and people need to still earn. Like even someone my age, I still need to pay my bills.
Exactly. You've got mortgage, you've got, now you've got little kittens, so basically family, like you've got a partner.
Yeah, so I think it came up at the right time because I got to work and I kind of learn at the same time, so it goes hand in hand. Like, I think I spoke to the people at Baltic yesterday on that panel with like loads of apprentices who were all younger.
Yeah.
And if I was maybe 19 before whatever it is to go to university, if someone told me what I know now, I would have taken this path.
Rather than going to uni.
I can work and learn at the same time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially our industry, I think the education, not to discredit it because it's important, is sometimes things need to be validated and courses need to be written. By the time that's done, a lot of it is not valid anymore.
Yeah, because it's just changing every single day. And I think I'll chat to Jess as well, and we'll do a podcast on her. She's done a different path, so she's actually done the university path, and then she's actually done a placement year and worked here for a year, and then we'll be completing university. So she's done it in a different industry in the sense she's doing video, but that could be within anything in film or marketing. But she's had to take a year out of studying in order to get the practical experience and to learn all the new things. But everything that she has learned, yes, it's been skills, but as you say, it changes. And you've been here over a year, and there's been an update probably yesterday that is brand new. So I guess any type of education is going to lay the foundation, and obviously yes, that is important, and we're not discrediting that. But of course, having the opportunity to do that while doing the work is just. It's doing two things at the exact same time. Instead of coming out of a university course maybe and going like, oh, I know everything, and then being like thrown in the industry and going, I don't know any of that. Like practically, I don't know how to handle that. So yeah, I definitely think that it's benefited you to be in this environment. And I think the best thing is I have obviously watched you grow. We've both gone through different promotions, and I've taught you so much that you know, but then now I'll turn around and be like, Darren, come here, come teach me this on SEMrush. So it's become such a nice environment where you don't only feel like you're constantly being taught, but you're now able to teach other people, regardless of the hierarchy of the company. We can all learn from you, and you can learn from us.
Yeah, it's kind of key, which is what I'm unaware of if I just lucked out in the apprenticeship, or I just find someone else, because there could be someone having the complete opposite experience.
Yeah,
but
of course.
That kind of hands-on stuff is massively key. It's just I feel specifically for me, it's been huge. I go away training course with them, and it is still helpful, and I learned things that I could implement quickly there.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I'm learning here, and I don't think I am. I'm just working. Like, doing your job is the benefit of that. I feel like if I went the other route of education coming in, I'd be like practical skills, or like learning how to do them. But I think being here, I'm like, all my reports and stuff through that are just taken care of because I'm doing my job, and it's it feels like I'm getting the best of both worlds. And there's also sometimes there's a stigma attached to it because like people think apprentices for like kids and stuff. I think the people at Baltic were trying to get rid of that as well, because I think it's a viable alternative to work just now. People can't afford to take time out, and they need to learn a skill, and there's loads of people dying for like jobs or try to upskill. No matter what age they are, I think it's key. Like a lot of the apprentices actually are, there's not a lot of them, there's some that maybe even have their own company and are doing things like other within a different department, and they're trying to learn marketing to try and help out.
Well, they can't take time off to go study and do a business, so that is almost like the only option. If it wasn't there, they would have to just learn it.
Because there's people maybe within a department in a small business, say like I owned one and I had someone working for me who's doing like admin or something. It would be beneficial for me to like send them away to do that skill. I can't be like, go to university and come back with those skills.
Come back in 3 years, let me know like how it's going.
It's very good for that, and I think being able to earn a living and upskill at the same time is key. And
grow in the business. Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, while I'm doing an apprenticeship, like I'll just be a junior the whole time. Like, you came in here as an exec and you're now a manager. And as the company grows, like, and how long have you been on the apprenticeship? Almost 2 years now. I think maybe a year and a half-ish. So in a year and a half, you've learnt the skills, you've got a promotion, like all of the opportunities of doing that. Whereas if you'd kind of done the apprenticeship and not, gone into a different company or anything like that, where they just were like, oh yeah, you're an apprenticeship, you do all like the crappy tasks down there because that's all you're good for. Like, I think it's important for employers that are possibly listening to this to just make sure that your mindset of an apprenticeship isn't that negative one of like, oh, well, that's all they're good for is Excel spreadsheets and like admin. Like, give them tasks to learn and practice on. I think for yourself and for them, I think you need to approach it with that mindset. If they're not ready for it, you'll probably quickly find out. But that's how you learn, isn't it? People learn, in my experience, if you treat them as like, not equals, but like, you shouldn't. I can't undermine them. You're brought in for apprentice to help the business and to help the person, but at the same time, you'll only got to benefit for being like, will be treated as an employee, and you need to act and behave as an employee, and I expect not the same performance, but you kind of do, I suppose. The performance. I know what you mean. You can't baby people and be like, oh, you're only an apprentice, because that doesn't benefit them. No, they just won't. They won't learn. So if you give people, just throw them in at the deep end and be like, but guide them. I think that's the point. The people looking to be an employer that brings in apprentices, that you need to be ready to be like a bit of a hold their hand initially, and then let them in. But you need to trust them and they need to trust you. It's kind of a lot of open communication. It's something I didn't know I needed until I had it. So there's loads of things I've picked up here that if you asked me before I started, I'd be like, didn't know. I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this. You don't need an entire office full of women, because bearing in mind, Darren was at a point and for quite a few months the only guy in our company. So you came in. I remember the day that we did. We've got a really interesting employment. I don't know how to interview journey that we all get involved in for different reasons. And I remember your get to know at that point was COVID, so it was a video. And just like the journey, obviously from that was woman, and then you came into this office and we're all loud, powerful women. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's like, is he gonna be okay? And you love every second of it, and we love you, and it has just worked out, and it has been that environment. Thanks for watching or listening to the podcast today. And the topic was Baltic apprenticeship that Darren went on and has been working here throughout that experience. So if you have any comments or questions or experiences you want to share about doing apprenticeships, just pop it in the comment section. And don't forget to go check out our podcast, which is on all the podcasts. Wherever you get a podcast. Wherever you get podcasts, go search Running Riot. And tune in for 3 and 3, our weekly vlog, and the next podcast, which will be coming out next week. Bye.